Hello, I'm Jovan Johnson with the IMF Tracker. This week, Jamaica's debt-to-GDP ratio declining. IMF invites civil society to give its input on its surveillance role, and the Planning Institute of Jamaica has positive economic forecast. These stories in a moment, but first, our question of the week. What is a shoestring? Stay tuned, the answer comes up at the end of the program. Jamaica's Finance and Planning Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says the country's debt to gross domestic product GDP ratio is on a downward trajectory. By the end of the 2013-2014 fiscal year, on March 31, it's expected to be 8% lower than it was at the end of the previous fiscal year. Prior to Jamaica's agreement with the International Monetary Fund IMF on May 1 last year, the debt to GDP ratio was at 147%, but by the end of March it's expected to be lowered to about 139%. Speaking at a forum recently, the finance minister said unless Jamaica has a wish for national suicide, the government has no option but to make the current economic support program with the IMF a success. The IMF is seeking civil society's views on how to improve the effectiveness of its surveillance. Surveillance refers to the fund's role in overseeing the international monetary system and the monitoring of the economic and financial policies of its 188 member countries. The consultation with the civil society organizations will form part of the 2014 Triennial Surveillance Review. This review is a periodic evaluation of how well the IMF assesses the risks and prospects for economies around the world. The IMF says its consultations on the 2014 review will be opened until April 30. Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Colin Bullock, says the short-term prospects for the Jamaican economy during the March 2014 quarter are positive. He says this is based on expectations of heightened confidence. Mr. Bullock says the heightened confidence results from the successful completion of the third quarterly review of Jamaica's IMF program. Meanwhile, he says the main impetus for inflation during January was largely due to higher prices for the categories furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance. And to end our program, the answer to this week's question. The question again, what is a shoestring? A shoestring is a slang term used to describe a small amount of money that is considered to be inadequate for its intended purpose. And that's where we end our trek this week on the IMF Tracker. I'm Jovan Johnson.